What's up, guys? Welcome to Linux Bash Scripting Intermediate Level. As always, I'm your instructor, Kevin Downs. Today, we're at Session 5. We're going to be talking about programming logic. So, in the previous session, we covered command line options, the set command, parents and children, inheritance, exporting, dot scripts, startup scripts, environment variables, setting prompts in K shell and bash shell. Today, we're going to be going over conditional expressions, testing strings, testing options, numeric conditions, testing completion status, truth and corn in bash shell, the case statement, loops, while and until, the for loop, menus in the select statement, redirection in loops, and when to use different constructs. Let's go ahead and start with conditional expressions. So a conditional expression is used within the double square bracket compound command to test attributes of files and to compare strings. However, word splitting and file name substitution are not performed on words appearing between double brackets, okay, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So each expression is constructed from one or more of the following unary or binary expressions, which you can see here at this link. So you can check that link out and see the list there. But let's go ahead and talk about comparing strings, which we can do inside of single square brackets or double square brackets. So the first one's just going to be an equal sign, which means is equal to. So if I do if square bracket, quotation mark, $a, quotation mark, space, equals, space, quotation mark, $b, quotation mark, space, square bracket, that simply means if A is equal to B, okay? And do take note of the white space surrounding the equal signs in between the two, okay? If there's no white space there, that does not mean the same thing as this above here. And I'll show you that on a virtual box just so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Oops. Give me 1 second here. There we go. So, setting up my statement here. I'm just in a text editor right now, so I do if, which is an if statement, space, square bracket, because I want to test a statement here, and I'm testing two variables. So if square bracket space, quotation mark, $a, quotation mark, is equal to, so equal sign, and I have to put a space before and after the equal sign, b, okay, and then I could put something after this, like then, else, something like that, okay? But this is what we're testing right now. We're just testing to see if A is equal to B, okay? And as I said, that right here without the spaces does not equal the same thing as this with the spaces, okay? That won't work and your code will actually break. So the next part we're looking at here is the double equal sign, okay? This also means is equal to. Okay, so it's synonymous for equals. But do keep in mind that the double equal sign behaves differently within double square brackets, okay, than within single square brackets. And we can see that here. So in double square brackets, a double equal sign to a z, star, or splat would come out to true if A starts with a z. Okay, right? Because that star sign is a meta character, right? So that would say if A is equal to anything that starts with the letter Z, okay, that's going to come out this true statement. Or if A is equal to the literal string of Z star, okay, so a literal matching, then it would come out to true. Now when we look at the single brackets here, if A is equal to Z star, that's actually different. That's file globbing, or word splitting, which is going to take place inside those single brackets, okay? Up here, it was a meta character. Here, it's going to be used for file globbing, okay? And then it's going to behave the same if we encapsulate it in quotation marks here. It's going to say literally Z star, okay? So if A is equal to Z star, then it would come out to a true statement, okay? So keep that in mind when you're using square brackets, single and double, that it may treat things differently. Okay, so if I go to our virtual box here, double equal sign is the same thing as a single equal sign, okay? But if I have square brackets, double square brackets, it may actually treat things differently. Okay, oops, there we go. Okay, so if I were to have star Z, okay, that would be treated different than if it were in single brackets, like that. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're using single and double brackets. Let's go ahead and move on to our next string comparison, which is going to be the exclamation point equal sign, which stands for is not equal. Okay? So if A is not equal to B, then it comes out to a true statement. Okay, so exclamation point equal sign. So that would look like this. Variable B. Okay. So if A exclamation point equal sign is not equal to B, then it's a true statement. That's usually what the exclamation point means. It means not. Then we have our next one here, which is going to be a less than symbol, and just like it means in states, it's less than. So if A is less than B. And that's going to be in the, let me go back to our PowerPoint, ASCII, so ASCII, okay, alphabet order, meaning, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. Okay, so normal alphabet, so that's what's going off of, in alphabetical order there, if A is less than B, okay? So that would look like just like what we think. If I put a less than sign here, A has to be less than B in order for this statement to be true. Let's go to our next slide here and keep going down our list here. So again, we see that less than sign. But notice when we use single brackets, we actually need to escape the character. Okay? So when we're using these single brackets, we need to throw that backslash in there to escape that character. Otherwise, it's going to be interpreted differently. We just want it to be interpreted as less than. Now, if we have square brackets, oops, we don't need to use that escape character. We can keep it as is and it would mean less than. Okay. So since we've kind of talked about single and double square brackets here, you know, when do you actually use one or the other? So a single square bracket is an old POSIX cell, and it's an actual command, okay? Double square brackets is a little bit more versatile and forgiving, and it's actually just a keyword. Most bash shells are going to be using double square brackets, okay? So you're pretty safe if you use double square brackets most of the time. If you're using single square brackets, just keep in mind that it's going to interpret things differently. It may not work on as many things, okay? So square brackets or double square brackets is a little bit more versatile, and you may want to stick with that just to be a little bit on the safer side. So next symbol we're looking at is greater than sign, which of course is going to mean is greater than. So when we see it in double brackets, A would have to be bigger than B for this to be a true statement. And again, when we use single square brackets, we need to escape the character with a backslash. Okay. Here we have a dash Z. So here we're checking to see if the string is null, meaning it has a 0 length or nothing was put in there. Okay. We actually have a if-then statement set up for that here. So we set the variable string equal to, and that's a single quote space single quote, meaning nothing, no value. There's going to be space there. So if Z, or dash Z, and then we put this variable string there, then echo string is null. Okay. Notice we had to backslash that $sign character to escape the meaning of it. Else echo string is not null. Okay. And when we do that, what's going to happen is it's going to echo string is null, right? Because the string variable equals nothing. There's no value there. It has a 0 length. Okay. The reverse of that is dash n, meaning string is not null. So if anything is in there in that variable, then it's a true statement. Okay. So that's going to kind of look like this, dash z. Okay, so if A has nothing in it, then it's going to be a true statement. If we have dash n, if A has anything in it, has some value, then it's going to be a true statement. Okay, so those are some common string operators we can use in string comparisons when doing some of our scripts.